Now that we have the new Xiaomi Pad 7, how does it compare to the iPad 10th generation? Well, let's talk about it. The price for the Xiaomi Pad 7 and the iPad is around $300 or less in some cases. I've seen the iPad go on sale as low as $250 here recently. You have the option of 64 gigabytes for the base model iPad versus 128 gigabytes for the Xiaomi Pad 7. You also have the option of 256 gigabytes for both. One advantage for the Xiaomi Pad is you have 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM versus only 4 for the iPad. One advantage for the iPad 10 is it's a little bit lighter at 477 grams versus 500 for the Xiaomi Pad. The screen sizes are very similar between these two at 10.9 inches for the iPad at 1640 by 2360 resolution versus 11.2 inches for the Xiaomi Pad at a higher resolution at 2136 by 3200. Both of these are IPS LCD displays, but you can get up to 144 Hz refresh rate on the Xiaomi Pad versus only 60 Hz for the iPad. The screen quality looks really good on both, but when you put these next to each other, the Xiaomi Pad's actually a little bit brighter. You'll also notice the bezels are a little bit smaller on the Xiaomi Pad versus the iPad as well. But one advantage for the iPad is you have the fingerprint scanner or Touch ID right on the power button, where you don't get any fingerprint scanner on the Xiaomi Pad, unfortunately. Now when it comes to battery life, these two are actually really close. The Xiaomi Pad lasted about 6 hours versus 5.5 hours for the iPad 10. Keep in mind that's at 100% screen brightness, so you should be able to get quite a bit longer than that once you turn the screen brightness down with mixed use. One advantage for the Xiaomi Pad is you get up to 45 watt fast charging versus 20 watts for the iPad 10. Now software wise, even though one is on Android 15, the other is on iPadOS 18, you're going to notice there are some similarities, like with the control center up in the corner. You can wake the screen up with one tap on both of these. You also have a dock at the bottom for both. You have the Google discovered newsfeed left of the home screen for the Xiaomi Pad, but you can also have widgets left of the screen on the iPad. It's probably going to come down to personal preference on which apps that you need to use, but there's actually things about both that I like. Of course, you have the option of 3-button navigation or gestures on the Xiaomi Pad, or it's only gestures on the iPad. You also have workstation on the Xiaomi Pad, where you don't get that on the iPad, which is nice if you want to be a little more productive, where you have to go up to the iPad Air to get things like Stage Manager. You've also got pen support on both of these. You can use the USB-C Apple Pencil or the first gen Apple Pencil as well on the iPad, where you can use the Xiaomi Focus Pen on the Xiaomi Pad 7, which is definitely nice to have if you want to take notes, draw, or just move around the software. They also both have video out, so you can use an HDMI adapter to view on a TV, projector, or external monitor. Even though the iPad is a little older, you typically get about 5 years of software updates for iPads, where the Xiaomi Pad 7 has 2 years software, 3 years security updates from what I've seen online. Now performance-wise, the iPad 10 is almost identical to the Xiaomi Pad on single and multi-core scores. One advantage for the Xiaomi Pad is you have 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM versus only 4 for the iPad, which could definitely come in handy when multitasking or just getting updates in the future. It's always nice to have extra RAM, whether you need it right now or not. If you compare the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme scores, the Xiaomi Pad's quite a bit more powerful at over 3000 versus 1924 on the iPad, where the Xiaomi Pad is better than 64% compared to other devices versus 34% better on the iPad 10. I think both of these are good options for playing games like PUBG Mobile, Asphalt Legends Unite, or pretty much any other game in the Play Store or App Store. Overall, both of these have really good performance, especially considering the price. As far as speakers go, you get 2 on each side for the Xiaomi Pad with Dolby Atmos versus only 1 on each side for the iPad. Even though it looks like 2, the 1 is just for looks. I probably prefer the Xiaomi Pad a little bit better as far as sound quality, but here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what they sound like.
As you fade away.
Surprisingly, the camera quality on both of these tablets are probably better than expected. You've got a 12 megapixel ultra wide on the back of the iPad, 12 megapixel ultra wide on the front versus a 13 megapixel on the back of the Xiaomi Pad with an 8 megapixel on the front. You can also shoot up to 4K resolution for video recording on both of these. So you could use these for Zoom meetings or other video conference calls if you need to. But here's a quick sample of each just so you can see how they compare. As you can see, this is probably the closest comparison that I've done recently between two tablets. It's so close, it may just come down to whether you like Android or iPad OS. There's just a few small differences that might make you lean towards one or the other. To me, I think it's going to be tough to beat either of these tablets at this price. But if you like tablets, phones, and other tech, as usual, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on. So you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.